October 11, 2014, from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. It was Game 1 of the NLCS between the San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. And on the mound for St. Louis was Adam Wainwright, and on the mound for San Francisco was Madison Bumgarner. So Wainwright would set down the Giants in order in the top of the first, and then in the bottom of the first, Matt Carpenter would lead off for the Cardinals with a single, but then Bumgarner set down the next three St. Louis members, Gerchuk, Holliday, and Peralta, in order, and that would get us through the first inning as it was still knotted up at 0. Then in the top of the second, Pablo Sandoval led off with a double, and Hunter Pence walked, and then Brandon Belt hit a single, and the bases were now juiced for Brandon Crawford. He struck out swinging, and Ishikawa would come to the plate with the bases still juiced with one out, and then he hit a shallow blooper over the head of Matt Carpenter just out of his reach, and Pablo Sandoval would come across home plate to score the game's first run to give the Giants a 1-0 lead over the Cardinals as Pence and Belt both moved over and the bases were still loaded. Bumgarner then came to the plate and he got out, and so now it was 2 outs with the bases still juiced for Blanco, and he ended up reaching first on an error by Carpenter as Hunter Pence would come across the plate to score the game's second run as the Giants now led 2-0 over the Cardinals. Panic then grounded out, and we would head to the bottom of the second, but not before the Giants put 2 runs on the scoreboard. So now in the bottom of the second, Matt Adams would lead off, and he struck out. Molina then grounded out, and John Jay got a single, but then Wong struck out, and the second inning came to a close with the score 2-0 San Fran over St. Louis. Buster Posey would lead off the third with a single, then Sandoval got a single, so we had 2 on, no out. Then Hunter Pence hit into a fielder's choice, and Sandoval was out at second. Then Brandon Belt came to the plate and he hit a sac fly, and that scored Posey as he came across after he had tagged up, and it was now 3-0 Giants over the Cardinals. Crawford would come up and get out, and we would head to the bottom of the third, but not after the Giants had added their third run of the game. Bumgarner would then strike out Wainwright, and he ended up striking out Gerchuk after Carpenter grounded out as he set down the Cardinals in order and bookended the inning with strikeouts. So after 3, it was 3-0 San Fran over St. Louis. Then in the top of the fourth, Ishikawa would lead off with a single, but then Wainwright would end up setting down the next 3 batters, starting off by striking out Bumgarner, then getting Blanco and Panic out. And so that would bring us to the bottom of the fourth, and Holliday would end up leading off, and he popped out, and Peralta walked, but then Adams struck out, and Molina got out. And so that would do it for the fourth inning, as it was still 3-0 Giants over the Cards. So now in the top of the fifth, Wainwright would get Posey to pop out, and Sandoval ended up walking, and Pence hit into a fielder's choice, and Sandoval was out at second. Belt then walked, so we had 2 on and 2 out, and Gonzalez came in to relieve Wainwright, and he got Crawford to ground out to make the top of the fifth come to a close. As we headed to the bottom of the fifth, John Jay was hit by a pitch, but then Bumgarner got the next 3 batters out with a ground out, and then another one and a pop out. So now we are headed to the 6th with it still 3-0 Giants over the Cards, and Gonzalez would strike out Ishikawa, then get the next 2 batters out, Bumgarner and Blanco, as he set down the Giants in order in the top of the 6th. Bumgarner would then set down the Cards in order in the bottom of the 6th, and it would still be 3-0 heading to the 7th. Panic then singled to lead off the inning, and Martinez would come in to relieve Gonzalez on the mound. Posey then got out, and Sandoval singled, so we had 2 on, 1 out, and Pence struck out. Then Belt walked, and so we had the bases juiced, and Choate would come in to relieve Martinez, and he got Crawford to ground into a fielder's choice as the top of the 7th came to a close with no damage done. And so now in the bottom of the 7th, Bumgarner would get Adams to fly out, but he let off a single to Molina, and then 1 to Jay, so we had 2 on and 1 out. Wong came to the plate and he grounded out, but he moved the runners into scoring position. So now Cruz came to the plate as he represented the tying run with Molina and Jay both in scoring position, and he ended up striking out in the bottom of the 7th. Came to a close, and after 7 it was still 3-0 Giants over the Cards. Maness would then come in to pitch, and he would end up getting out the Giants in order as he got Perez, Bumgarner, and Blanco to all ground out. And so now in the bottom of the 8th, Matt Carpenter would lead off the inning by striking out, and Gerchuk popped out, and then Romo would come in to relieve Bumgarner, and he got Holiday out as the Cards were set down in order. And that was it for the 8th as we headed to the 9th with it a 3-0 ball game, San Fran over St. Louis. Maness would then set down the Giants in order as he got Panic, Posey, and Sandoval all out. And we headed to the bottom of the 9th as the Cardinals were down to their last 3 outs in this game, down 3-0. And Santiago Casilla came in to close things out for the Giants, and he got Peralta out, and then he got Adams to pop out. So Yadier Molina came to the plate, and he grounded out, and this game came to a close with the final score 3-0 as the Giants take Game 1 in the NLCS as they beat the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis. And Madison Bumgarner has now made history as he has gone scoreless on all of his road starts in this postseason, as he pitched 7 2/3 innings and did not let up any earned runs. He only allowed 4 hits and a walk, and he struck out 7. Romo came in, he pitched to just one batter, and he got him out. And then Casilla came in the 9th, pitched the 1 inning, and closed things out as he picked up the save. Wainwright didn't even make it through 5 as he just pitched 4 2/3 innings. He let up 2 earned runs. A 3rd run that was unearned also scored. That was off of that error. And then he also let up 6 hits and 3 walks, and he did get 2 strikeouts. Of course, the relievers were excellent for St. Louis, but they were in a hole that their offense couldn't dig them out of. Gonzalez, Martinez, Chotia, Maness all managed to not let up any runs, and they ended up getting a combined 2 strikeouts to match Wainwright's 2 earlier in the game. So excellent pitching by both teams. Of course, Wainwright had the struggles, and he only let up 2 earned runs, but that was all Bumgarner would need. He only really needed 1, as he did not allow any, and Romo and Casilla shut the door on the back end. And offensively, Pablo Sandoval was 3 for 4. He crossed the plate once. Posey was 1 for 5. He also crossed the plate. Pence was 0 for 3, but he also crossed the plate because he did walk. And Brandon Belt was 1 for 1. He walked twice, and he had an RBI. And Ishikawa was 2 for 3, and he had an RBI as well. The other RBI is the other run was unearned. And Sandoval also had a double, as that was the only extra base hit in this game, in a game that only saw 12 total hits. So final score 3-0 Giants over the Cardinals, as the Giants take the 1-0 lead in the series.